Happy New Year, everyone. Good evening. I'd like to call the first 2017 meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Chavez.
Here.
Councilmember Fish.
Here.
Councilmember Mann.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sternquist.
Here.
Mayor Yu.
Here. Next, we have invocation provided by Pastor Chris Famisaran, and he is from Temple City Seventh-day Adventist Church, located 9664 Broadway. He is the associate pastor of the church, and he's also the senior pastor of the Almonte Seventh-day Adventist Church. They are a growing, vibrant, multi-ethnic, and multi-generational congregation. The main service is in English. They also have a Spanish Sabbath school. For more information, you can visit their website at Temple City Church at www.templecitychurch.com. And right after the invocation, Troop 174 will provide will lead us in Pledge of Allegiance. The Scouts presenting the colors are Steve Salas, Matthew Oakley, and Bill Hahn. Their next camp-out will be on January 14th at Giant Rock in Landers by Joshua Tree National Park. They meet every Thursday from 7:30 to 9 at Westminster Presbyterian Church near the corner of Temple City Boulevard and Live Oak Avenue. The troop is a backpacking, high adventure, backcountry camping trip. Anybody interested in backpacking and backcountry camping, welcome. Pastor, please stand.
God, tonight we have come together to discuss the matters pertaining to the Temple City Church. We ask for wisdom, for guidance, and we pray as well for every citizen of this town, and as well as we pray for the businesses and the workers and the people who are looking after this city. Give us wisdom and guidance as we discuss matters pertaining to it. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Troop 174.
Detail forward march. Detail halt. Post your colors. Non-uniform, please place your right hand over your heart. Scout salute. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Detail reform. Detail about face. Detail forward march. Please be seated.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor, and thank you, Troop 174. Next is ceremonial matters. We have Pets of the Month. At this time, I would like to call up Gosa Jaskew, St. Gabriel Valley Humane Society volunteer to introduce our Pet of the Month for 2017.
I would like to introduce Kermit. Kermit the dog, not the frog. He's 4 years old, American Staffy. He was found as a stray. Actually, he was tied up in the middle of the summer to fire hydrant. And the great police officers saved him and brought him to the shelter. He's very great, calm, very mellow dog. He would be great with people that don't necessarily need a very active dog, like to sit with the dog on the couch and watch TV. He will be absolutely happy. He's very human-oriented. He walks very well on the leash. He's one of the easiest dogs to walk in the shelter, and he might look intimidating, but he's just a big love bug. When he walks, he likes to lean on you. We called him a leaner dog because he just loves his people. He just likes to be with people all the time. He's just a great dog. So I hope that we'll find a family for him, someone that would give him a safe home and love him like he loves all people that he meets, big, small. He's a great dog. So please spread the news, and maybe one of you would like to adopt Kermit. Thank you very much, and a Happy New Year from
Happy
all
New
of us
Year.
at San Gabriel Humane Society.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Brian,
Likewise.
can you take a picture of him or Jerry, and then we can put on Facebook?
Sure, I already have.
Okay, you put him on your Facebook? Okay.
He's so cute.
I'm sorry?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, he's,
Smiley face.
that's his smile.
lovely. And Jersey, who was here last month, she told me was adopted.
Oh, wonderful.
The next day after
So that's
he came
cool.
from here, a great man from Monrovia came, fell in love with him,
Oh,
and
good.
he had a home right away. So hopefully you guys bring luck to Kermit too. He feels comfortable.
He doesn't want to leave.
No, he doesn't want to leave.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay.
I think I will have to. You hang out?
All right, next, thank
That's
you.
great news.
For the objection. And next, we have public comments not listed on the agenda. First, I would like to call up our children librarian, Xu Ming Zhang, Miss Zhang.
Hello. Okay. Good evening, Mayor Yu, City Council staff, City Council members, and the public. My name is Shumin Zong, and I'm the Children's Librarian at the Temple City Library. I'm here tonight to share a couple of exciting programs we have in the upcoming weeks. And first, I'm very biased. I love to start with children's programming because I'm the children's librarian. We have the Crazy Eights Math Club. It starts next Tuesday, January 10th, and it runs for 8 weeks. It's an afternoon math program, and it's absolutely free. The kids don't learn math, but they learn math in a fun, exciting way. So what they do is they build structures, they run and play, they crack codes, make a mess, and just have fun while learning these math concepts. And this is really geared towards children in grades 3 to 5, and it's funded courtesy of the Bedtime Math Foundation. So they provide all the materials, and we just let the kids loose. And our first program, again, is on the January 10th from 4:30 to 5:30, and they're learning about geometry using glow sticks. So that's fun. And every month we have a hands-on science program. For the month of January, we'll be working with catapults. So the kids will be learning about the history of catapults and make one that actually can eject a marshmallow. And that is January 14th from 2 to 3. And last month, we did a series on hot air ballooning. So they had a blast. I gave them each a helium balloon, and they built little structures out of plastic, paper, so that they could hold as many people as possible inside. So the kids got really creative. They all did the same idea when they first started. They just kind of looked at each other, and yeah, like, I like that idea. I'll go with that idea. But once they get started, they really think about, oh, maybe I'll make a hole punch. I'll make it a little thinner. I'll use paper instead of plastic because it's lighter. So the kids really get creative. For the teen programming, we do have a Rube Goldberg STEM project for teens. This was postponed a couple months ago, and we're finally having it for January 7th on Saturday from 1:30 to 3:30. So a science educator will be here to teach them about the basics of building, and it's a lot of trial and error, and they make a machine that can, like a cat and mouse game. And lastly, I'm really excited to announce we are having the author E. Catherine Kataris here. She will be here. see the book. January 27th on a Friday from 3:30 to 4:30. And the book is about a super achiever high schooler. She has a lot on her plate. She's dealing with family drama, school scandals. But over the summer, she's going to learn that it's okay to be less than perfect. And the author will be here if you have any questions, if you'd like to share about the book, if you want an autograph. It'll be here 3:30 to 4:30, January 27th on a Friday. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Zhao.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Next, I'd like to call Miss Tracy Liu.
Good evening, Mayor, councils, and everyone's here. I live in Temple City more than 20 years already, and I really love this city. We have the problem with the neighbors' trees and the shrubs and the vines all the time. And more than 15 years ago, then we asked the neighbors to cut the trees because the tree grow to our side, our property, and include the vines too. And I don't know whose vines are those, because between our property line, we have a fence, and part of on the other side, and the part of the vines are on our side. But the tree grow bigger and bigger as grow to my land. Then we talked to, I have talked to the husband, and the husband said that's more than 15 years ago. And the husband said that we can do anything we want in our side if the tree grow to our side. And we came to the city hall, asked what we can do, and they said, we can do whatever, trim the tree, cut the tree if the tree grow to our side. But the problem is growing bigger now because about 3 years ago, we tried to rebuild the house. We wanted to, because the house is kind of old, so we want to build a new house. So we have the designer, engineer to design the house building, how to plan it. And then we get a permit from the city, we pay the money. Then finally we can build a house in the last year, the end of the December. Then we have the contractor to start the work. Then we have demolition. Then our neighbor, that contractor, because I have no idea, they know we are going to rebuild the house because always we have several letters to send it out before we start it, before the city get the final permits, we can start building the house. Then the neighbor, that contractor, take off the fence on the back of the yard, half. And in the front, the half yard in the front, halfway, and the neighbors didn't let him take it off. And I don't know why. I asked the contractor what happened, and he said, "Oh, don't worry, he'll take care about that." And how come they let you take off the fence? Because I think that's amazing. Because I don't think they're willing to let us take off that. And then through the years, we trim the trees and the vines every time the trees and the vines touch our house and the garage, because that's against we buy the fire insurance. And the trees cannot touch the garage or the house. So we have to trim it, and then now when we build a new house, because the house will be closer than before, then because we follow the rule, that's 5 feet. Then the trees, we have to trim more than before. Right. And include the vines, because they don't cut it, they don't trim it. And so the vines grow so huge. And then they sued us. And I don't know why I trimmed the tree grew to my house and touched the house that we built now as a new house. And how come we cannot trim it? Then that's for safety, the fire problem. And include the vines too. And actually we talked to the city, and they said we can do whatever we want, include the planner and the inspector.
Yeah. Well, Mr. I need to ask you to conclude because your time is up. And,
Okay.
So perhaps you can take this up with our city staff and we can help you with that.
I really want to because I talked to them about more than 5 times already.
Okay.
And now the court called us because they sued us. And then I show up and the court said, okay, then pay $5,500 to her, to our neighbor. And why do I have to pay the money? They grow the trees to my property.
Right.
And now I trim it because they are going to hurt my house. And I trim it, I have to pay the money to them. So I decide to appeal. So I really need help. The city can have some regulation or policy that to tell the details. We
Yeah.
can trim the tree for the safety. Okay?
All right, all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to you
Thank you.
outside this.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Next, I call up Mr. Riddell.
Mayor, City Council, first of all, I thank
evening.
all of you for being concerned while I was in Nebraska. Most I'm assuming most everybody knows what happened when I was in Nebraska. And yes, we did make it back, and on that path, Mayor Chavez reminded me that I should come and say hello. This is my night
You
to
look
come
good.
and say
You
hello.
look really good. You do.
The concerns and whatnot, but I was also going to comment on on the librarian's comment about hot air ballooning. I've done hot air ballooning, and you can do it out in the city of Riverside. And in addition, for those of you who want to see what real trains look like, called streetcars, we used to have them on Las Tunas, they are displayed at the Riverside Railroad Museum. So you can go out there and see people also learn how to skydive and parachuting and different things that I'm not eager for that, but I do most enjoy a hot air balloon ride.
Wonderful.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Riddell.
Welcome back, Franklin.
Welcome back.
Good to see you, Frank.
You look good.
Next, I call up Mr. Stafford.
First off, I'd like to apologize for my cell phone. I came from a long way, and I'm still getting over the drive. Mayor Pro Tem Sternquist, council members, and city staff. When it rained this last weekend, the alley where I live filled up with water and backed up because there's a motorhome in there and a vehicle. And this is what I've been saying all along. They can't park that little motorhome there. That's a flood control channel. They've actually built things on a wall, and, if we get the rain they're saying this weekend, we could have problems down there easily. I've seen that alley with 2 to 3 feet of water flowing fast. And I've grown up there. I've seen it. And believe me, right now the leaves are piled up down there at the corner of Brella and Nadine from the water backing up. And it's just, I'd like to figure out what to do to try to get those alleys posted. I know a year ago there was an item on the agenda to look at some of these alleys. I think we need to look at all of these alleys because several of them that I know are flood control channels. And Michael Forbes had talked to flood control, and it is a flood control channel. He confirmed what I already knew. And there needs to be some work done on this to make it so when the deputies see these cars parked in there, they get cited. Then it's not a place to park,
Right.
And the second thing,
How does a car block the water?
because they park there in the wash, and the water hits the tires and just backs up because they can't flow
What
through.
alley is that?
They've got a wall where they've got it built, water can barely get through to the olive side of this alley. It's all just basically mismatch of problems there. And, I'm glad, Tom, you asked that because if you went down there and
What
saw
alley is
this,
that?
you wouldn't believe it.
Is it, well, have you notified the city about this? And
I have in the past. I'm thinking about maybe going to another route of flood control, which I've done in the past, and it just seems to nothing seems to get done there. It seems to be a
Well,
continuous problem. Everybody
perhaps the
that's,
city can go out and take a look and see one if they're actually legally parked and then
yeah, I'd appreciate it.
figure it out.
It's a nightmare. The other thing is I want to say real quickly, is I was watching the Rose Bowl game yesterday, and 4 times my cable went out. I have AT&T. This seems to be a constant problem with cable companies. When there's a big game on, they seem to not be able to have the service. And I'll tell you what part of the problem is real quick, is their lines are overloaded. They don't have the right equipment up there. And AT&T, it's like pulling straws to get them to do something. And their techs can't even get tech support. It's part of the problem with the company. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Anyone else would like to address the city council? Okay. Seeing none, I'll close public comments. Next is consent calendar. All items may be approved in a single motion unless removed for discussion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Chavez?
Yes.
Councilmember Fish?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sternquist?
Yes.
Mayor Yu?
Yes. So the items have been approved. Next item is unfinished business. There is none. Public hearing, there is none. And unfinished business, there is none. New business, there is none. Communications, there's none. Update from Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, you members of the council, happy 2017. To address just some of the issues that were brought up related to flooding in the area, we actively go out and monitor, and we actually know of the flood spots that are in and around town. We'll double check this alley as well, but we know, and there's some areas of town that flooding, there's not much we can do. We do the best that we can to mitigate, but part of the street system is actually meant to convey, not only convey the water through the system, but also in some cases kind of hold it in place. So that's unfortunately part of what a roadway system and that kind of thing allows it to do. So we do know of those hot spots. We'll double check those, and our crews will be out as they always are as we anticipate a big rain.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor Yu.
I have a question, Brian. If the public notices a street that's flooding, who should they call directly?
During non-office hours, Monday through Friday, outside of
Well,
Monday through Friday.
Monday, if they were going to call City Hall.
Just call City Hall, and we take, the receptionist up front will take it, and we'll get it to the right folks.
Okay. So
And
they
our-
just say that it's concerning flooding? Because I know unfortunately, a lot of our flooding lately has happened so quickly.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a downpour, and
Right.
they flood very quickly. So, okay, thank you.
So how about after hours? Who they call?
After hours, they can call the sheriff's department. We have a call-out number that we have staff available that can come out for call-outs, and we address those.
I believe in general, fire department also do.
Fire department will also provide that service as well, but
County fire also.
usually they'll even still call us out as well.
Thank you, Brian.
Next item is update from Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, a number of new bills have gone into effect as of the first of the year. We've been working with your staff to update some standard city contracts and other standard form documents to reflect those. In addition, as the first quarter of the year goes on, you'll see some ordinances come to you to reflect changes in the law. In fact, one of the items tonight from the city clerk on the consent calendar was a change to your policy reflecting a change in the law. So you will see those start to come through, and we're happy to answer any questions as they come up. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is council reports regarding ad hoc or standing committee meetings. I don't think we have any, do we? All right, moving on. Next item, council item, separate from the regular agenda. Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you, Mayor Yu. Just want to wish everybody a happy new year. Can't believe it's 2017 already. It's kind of hard to say sometimes.
Yes.
I remember though today I was good about writing 2017 on my checks.
I did that too
Yeah.
today. I was paying bills.
Yeah. So, and just again, congratulations to Victoria Castellanos, Queen of the Tournament of Roses. I know probably Councilmember Fish might talk about that some more. It's good free publicity for Temple City yesterday. If anybody
Wonderful.
Did see that. And all of you noticed, two of our young men, both Eagle Scouts, Kristen Palomares and Stephen Gold. I think they've both been here doing the flag salute at one time or another. For banner carriers for the Queen's Float.
They were.
Saw them on TV as well, so. Saw a couple other Temple City people roaming around. There was a lot of people in Temple City at
lot of Temple City
at the
people
parade
there.
yesterday, so that was a good thing. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Fish.
Just also wanted to say Happy New Year to everyone and say that I am a tournament member, and at every chance I got, I reminded all of my fellow members that our queen was from Temple City, and so that was really great, and they were so happy for us. So again, I wanted to congratulate Tori. She did a wonderful job. She's a wonderful young lady, and I wish her well. She was a great representative for Temple City, so.
Did we ever figure out when we're gonna get her here?
We're working on that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know her
couple
mom said
months.
After the first of the year, so.
Yeah, her commitments will slow down, but, yeah, it was wonderful.
Cool.
Thank you.
Councilmember Mann.
Thank you, Mayor Yu. You know, on the thought of the Rose Parade, I noticed that some local cities have floats, like I think Sierra Madre.
They do,
had a
there's
float.
several, Alhambra, Sierra
Alhambra.
Madre. They are all self-funded.
Oh, I see.
They are usually run by a nonprofit that is specifically created to raise money for the floats. And the floats can run anywhere between $200,000 to $400,000. We used to have floats. Temple City did used to have floats, but they are extremely expensive. And they do use sponsors, but still, and it's all volunteers. It's a huge undertaking. Some cities do it, they still do it. But yeah, it's very expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that as
Yeah.
I was watching. So
I think we should just keep producing queens.
I think so too.
that's a good
It's a lot less expensive.
Yes.
Anyway, Happy New Year, everyone. The only thing I will just say briefly is, and most people probably have heard this already, but there are some new laws in place for 2017, like there are new laws regarding driving and using your cell phone. So I just want everyone to be aware of those. You can no longer claim to the sheriff's department that you're using your GPS on your phone. I think
Right.
you're only allowed to, you have to have it mounted. It can't be
Exactly.
obstructing your field of vision. And I think you can only use one finger to swipe, but I'm not sure how they can tell. So, but anyway, that's part of the law. So just stay safe, don't text and drive, and keep our roads and streets safe for our residents and community. That's all I have.
Mayor Pro Tem Stenquist.
Just Happy New Year to everyone. Also, it's nice to have you back with us, Franklin. I just have a question about the plastic bag usage.
I can't.
What exactly is the law that went into effect? Like, if you go to a mall, that doesn't count, right?
Just for grocery stores.
So,
I
but it's
believe.
Rite Aid, CVS.
Oh, yeah, those two.
So it's, how is it defined exactly?
Primarily, you're looking at grocery stores and, as you said, pharmacies. There are a number of exceptions. One exception is for medicine. Another exception is if you have food that will cross-contaminate if it's not bagged. So despite the fact that there's a plastic bag ban in place, you will still see a number of places selling or using plastic
Right.
bags for a lot of these exceptions. I can't say that I have a full handle on all of the exceptions, but those are two that I know of, medicine and cross-contaminating foods.
Okay. And all the money from the sales of the bags goes directly to the state? Do cities get any portion of the monies collected for bag usage?
My understanding is no. That originally, when cities were imposing the bag bans on a city-by-city basis, they could collect because the fee was going to them. Now that the state has taken it over and made it a matter of state importance rather than a local matter, all the money goes to the state.
Okay. And did it go into effect in January, but some places started to enforce it sooner? I had residents call and say, I went to Super 8, but it's not January 1st yet. or-
Right, I wouldn't even say that places were enforcing it. I would say that the markets took it upon themselves to get going early.
Okay.
They had the option of getting started earlier rather than later.
So I had a few residents ask me, well, is it okay? Can they do that since it's not a law until January 1st? And I said, well, we don't own the markets. Obviously, they can charge or not charge. But I do have to say, I have probably 7 bags from every place I frequent, and I still forget to take them into the
I
store.
was just
They're
gonna
in
say
my
that.
trunk.
I can't remember to take them.
But I've spent 10 cents 1,000 times already, I think. But anyway, it's interesting because I see people from even like last week. Today I went to Ralph's and I'm like, darn, I left my bags in the car. But people were bringing in their shopping bags and their, you know, from whatever store. And I thought, it's just that paradigm shift of people getting used to something new. And the checker at Ralph's told me, she goes, oh, you watch, in about 3 months, people are just gonna, like anything, get accustomed to it. So.
Very true. My wife is very accustomed to it. I still forget every single time. But she went so far as to buy a refrigerator freezer bag for $6.99 instead of the $1.99 regular bag, and she says it's much better because she can go to the market and then pick up our kids rather than racing home.
Right.
So you're right, it is a paradigm shift, but it's...
Well, my husband was saying, okay, if you go to Ralph's, you need to get the Ralph's one out. I go, no, you don't. You can take any bag into any store. And he's like, okay, I think I'll just pay the 10 cents. But anyway, it does take some adjustment. But anyway, so thank you for clearing some of that up. I'm thrilled that, you know, the Pet of the Month program that was implemented 4 years ago is thriving, and dogs are getting adopted, and I'm thrilled that Jersey was adopted after, you know, being here. So please tell the people at the shelter thank you for their efforts. And I've been looking for a dog, and so I've been at the shelter almost weekly, and they just do such wonderful work there, and the volunteers are great. So please pass that on. Thank you.
Do you guys do a Pet of the Month at the other cities that you service as well?
No, we sometimes advertise our dogs to different.
So you don't take a dog to San Gabriel Council? What's that all about?
I actually don't know.
We should suggest to.
I
Yeah,
think
maybe I'll throw that at the council
Yes,
members next
I
time we
think
see
so.
them.
It's actually great because, for example,
He's been wonderful.
Jeremy today is staying over at my house, so he will have a break from the shelter.
I can't remember any time when any of your pets have ever have behaved badly here. Maybe they have, but they're all pretty good animals, cats and dogs.
You know, come to thinking about just pets and how you're going to take the dog home. I was watching a Hallmark Christmas show, and it was about a shelter, and they had a take a dog home for Christmas program, and you only took the dog home for like 3 or 4 days just for the Christmas break. And I thought, oh, that was such a nice thing to do. And then a lot of people landed up just keeping the dog. So
Yeah, once you get it, you're not gonna wanna give it back.
so it seemed like a nice program to implement.
This is what happens with, I think, every single volunteer, including me.
I can't
that,
imagine.
Volunteers at the shelter, we always, all of us almost, end up with at least one dog from the shelter. They're just great animals, like any other animal out there, and we hope that they all will find their own.
Well, if anyone wants the animal,
Kermit.
Kermit, the animal, Kermit.
Kermit the dog.
I'm happy to pay the adoption fee if anyone in the audience wants to take that dog home today.
told the pastor to wait because you were going to make that offer.
I,
Well, the pastor was gonna.
Was he
I
interested?
would make it if my wife was here. I've been wanting a dog as what I call a man's dog, as opposed to the 2 pipsqueaks. Any guy over.
Franklin, I think he's
It's
calling
time.
your name.
Actually fall asleep.
As I said,
don't
I
know if it is
wouldn't do it without
because
Linda's
of
permission.
Yeah.
snoring a little.
And she will be told tonight.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
All right, it's my turn. Happy New Year, everyone, as well. And speaking of Happy New Year, there is a Lunar New Year coming up.
Yes, there
think,
is.
So I think we have a festivity planned, Mr. City Manager. You know what date that is? The 28th?
It's looking to be the 20th, but we're working with the Temple City Chinese American Association, along with city staff, to put that together. Within the next couple weeks, information will be going out to the community. We'll be publicizing it. It will be here at Temple City Park, probably about a half-day event or so, but we're pulling that together as we speak.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, moving on to our next item is reimbursement of expenses to city officials. There is none. And then additional public comments. I think Mr. Riddell would like to address this again.
The comment was made about floats, and I was
Yes.
just going to add to that. I do church work, because up at the Rose Palace, and then there's another building closer to the stadium where the floats are being built. And you have a group called the Pedal Pushers. You might want to keep track of them. They put on probably 90% of the two buildings flowers on the floats during the week. They are from a particular church group. Yes, they're all volunteers. They come from all over the country to build that. We saw you were speaking about dogs on floats. We saw the farmers insurance.
Yes.
When I came into the building on Tuesday, the bus was down, so I didn't know what to expect. As the days progressed, the bus was up. I think, anybody saw that in the parade?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking
It was
about?
incredible, yes.
And that, I know, alludes to a commercial in which they light the stove with the dogs light the stove and all this other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I just, since you mentioned about floats and how they get done, I think Cal Poly's has always been in the parade a lot of times.
yeah.
And I think they do it themselves. They may do it through
Yeah.
a
I don't
corporation,
know.
I don't know. But part of their float, I think, is built in the northern campus, and part of it is built in the southern campus. So they managed to put that together and bring it, and students, as I say, are involved in doing it. So it might be one of those quote-unquote low-cost items. I'm not saying that
Comparatively.
150,000 isn't low cost, but I'm just saying it's
Right,
not
exactly.
as bad as someone might think is what I'm trying to say. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I just have heard in the past that what they do is probably the least cost and most cost effective because of the way they do it. But different cities come in at different times.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the bands. How often has Temple City Band been in there? But yet we've had two now recently. And that all
Yes.
took, yes,
I think they
public
rotate
donation.
every 4 years or so, right? I think the local.
But it depends upon the
just-
sizes and whatnot.
Yeah,
because
it just
You
kinda
don't have over
depends.
50 people that they can make a show.
Yeah.
They
Depends on
don't,
who the president is.
Yeah, and that
that right?
also,
He's the one that picks them,
yeah.
so,
yes.
They pick the bands 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
And they have a
If you
lot.
maybe it is every 4
of
years. I don't know.
people.
I just know that it has certain.
The bands are picked
everything
2 years
has
in
a certain,
advance, yeah.
Parameters they
Yeah.
can do on it. And they can only go over certain heights and certain lengths, and there's only certain numbers of everything.
Right.
Because they've got it down much more to a refinement
You know
now
what?
than they did when
And
I
I
used
will
to build
tell
floats
you,
years ago over
the-
here at
yeah.
Fiesta, when we built the Dr. Pepper float.
The float builders, the
And they're all going to be
designers,
moved
the
to
architects.
Irwindale, I
yeah.
might mention,
They
next
are,
year.
they are artists, the people
Yes,
that
they are.
build those.
They're already
They-
building
they-
next
it is-
year's
It is
floats.
amazing what they do. I mean,
So they're already working on next year's floats come January the 2nd.
oh, yeah.
So,
Mayor, can I just one last thing, I want to shout out to Foothill Transit, who effectively moved so many people from the Rose Parade to the Rose Bowl. And they were a huge supporter of
Huge.
our Rose Queen, and they actually had her picture with flowers on the sides of the bus, of some of the buses going to the Rose Parade.
Nice.
So it was really nice to see.
okay, anyway, that's my comment, and thank you for
All
the
right,
time.
thank you. Anyone
Thank
else
you,
like to
Riddell.
speak?
Jerry?
All right.
Nothing, Jerry?
No?
Okay, come on. Wouldn't be a meeting without you talking.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Jerry Jambasian. Just thinking about the new traffic laws and council member Mann speaking about it. I guess I just couldn't help but think as I was going west on Las Tunas near Primrose, Bank of America, the light turned yellow. I'm in the right-hand lane. I stopped because the light was red. The two cars to the left of me went right through the red light, 2 cars. And a truck was going south, and he was on his cell phone. And he almost ran into him. So, you know, you don't know who's to blame, but one person's on the cell phone, 2 people go through a red light, all in one intersection. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. The next thing is, I guess, the flood control. You know, the trees are like shedding their leaves. They go in the street, and I guess you have to have these grates
Yes.
over the flood.
It's a
They all
mess. I
clog
know.
up, I can see. You know, where's the water gonna go? You know, it's kind of bad, you know, that, and I know that they're trying to do this, you know, they have to do it, but there's no place for the water to go because the leaves are all stacked up in the grate there, so that's crazy.
Well, the assumption is that you will have to go and maintain it, even during the rain.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a lot of work, and I will give credit to our city manager and his staff that they've been patrolling and going around and clearing them as they go. And so
yeah,
we haven't had any major issues, and
That's
because,
good.
They've been
That's
really
good.
keeping it up.
My last thing is, we talked about floats. As many of you know, I'm a member of Kiwanis Club, and our division goes all the way from Montebello to Altadena. So we have 10 clubs that have key clubs in them of high schoolers. They go to the Rosemont Pavilion and they decorate the floats for Phoenix Decorating. So our Kiwanis float is about $100,000 less because of the work of these high schoolers that actually Phoenix uses for all the other floats, but we get the credit for. So it's kind of neat. But I do have an,
Same with what I'm saying, and it's Phoenix.
but I do have an old picture of one of the floats in the parade, so that Temple City had. So it's kind of neat.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Right,
Kevin.
thank you.
That's all.
Anyone else like to address the city council? All right. So we'll close public comments, and it's time for our adjournment. So the meeting is adjourned.